Hey, what's up guys, it's c.stacks finally bringing you another opening video. I tell you what, it feels like a freaking eternity since we've done one of these. You know, the world has gone to hell and we're just all trying to keep our head above water, but we have the Friendly Neighborhood set finally today. We're going to crack this bad boy open, take a look at it. It's been, sorry I'm still on this, it's been like, what, since December? Today is April 2nd that I'm recording this. It's been since December since we've done an opening video, right? Absolutely crazy. But anyways, we're going to crack open Friendly Neighborhood for you today. We also have Spidey Foes, so that's going to be next. Yeah, 2 sets today, so I'm super pumped. Finally get to open some new cards. Let's go ahead and do this. Maybe I can not embarrass myself taking the plastic off today. Get out of here. Alright. So we got Spidey Foes. It is The Verse is the name of the arc. It's volume 3, issue 1. Got Spider-Man and Mysterio on the front there. Photographic set, obviously. So the side of the box here, it says, this new arc, The Verse, expands on the popular characters within the Spider-Man universe. This Friendly Neighborhood issue brings Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home films into Versus System 2 PCG. Not only does this introduce the MCU webhead, but also his adversaries, including Mysterio. So, nothing cool on the back or anything, right? Alright, let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. Alright. Put the box off to the side. I'll show you guys the rule sheet. I don't go over these though, but you can pause and take a look at it if you would like to. Although actually I am curious if the rule sheet clarifies the because there's a misprint on Mysterio main character. I would like to know if it explains it. Okay, it doesn't say that there is a misprint, but it does have the correct ruling, or the correct power. You don't want any part of this. Put a supporting character with hologram keyword from your hand onto an enemy side. I wonder if the card on here, let's see if I can get this to focus. Yeah, search your deck for a hologram, put it onto an enemy side. That has 3 yellows on it. Main, yellow, yellow, yellow. Search your deck for a hologram and put it onto an enemy side. That's not right either. That's... oh man, that's... God. Alright, I'm going to harp on this for a minute. So, real quick, we're going to take a look at Mysterio. So, Mysterio level 1, the card says you don't want any part of this. Main yellow. Put a character with hologram from your hand onto your side. The card says your side, okay? Now, I'll link the spoiler article down below. The spoiler article clarifies that this is a misprint. The card should say main yellow. Put a character with hologram from your hand onto an enemy side. That's what it should say, okay? And then the rule book says this all seems to be right. But if you're going to go off the picture here, the picture says yellow main, 3 yellows. 3, not 1, 3. The picture says 3 yellows. Search your deck for a hologram and put it onto an enemy side. As far as I know, the correct version still only costs 1 yellow. The rulebook says 3. And it's a character from your hand, not from your deck. So, RIP any newer players who are trying to buy the Friendly Neighborhood set and play with it. This was not going to be a rant video until I noticed that is... because I already knew about the misprint thing. But then the rulebook adds a whole new layer of confusion. Because a new player buying this box, they have conflicting information here, and then they have a third thing that they need to go look at. This is wrong. This is wrong. They have to go to some spoiler article they might not even know exists to know how to play this card correctly. All right, let's go. I'll hover over the rest of the rule sheet, and then we'll move on. Okay, that's the rule sheet. Again, all right, we'll just try to move on. Okay. let's take a look at the cards here. Although we're starting with Mysterio, so it's going to be hard to move on. So we have Mysterio. He is a 3/4 flight range, 5 health hero main character. He's hero at level 1. He has You Don't Want Any Part of This, which says main yellow, put a character with hologram from your hand onto your side. Again, I'm pretty sure this is main yellow, put a character with hologram from your hand onto an enemy side. I'm pretty sure. At this point, I don't know. Anyway, his level up is there's only one left. Level up 1. When an enemy hologram is KO'd, Mysterio gains an XP. So you use his first power to give them a hologram, you kill the hologram, and then you level up. So at level 2, he's pretty cool at level 2. 5'9", flight range, 5 health, villain affiliated. I don't think you know what's real. Build blue or yellow or green or red. Put a character without hologram from your hand onto your side with 1 remaining health. It gains hologram with the power symbol. Mysterio paid for this power. So this power is actually insane. You could bring out like crazy good high drops early, like Thanos or Odin or Captain Marvel or something. I had thought leveling up was going to be pretty tough because you have to draw that one-of-a-kind card to bring out the hologram from your hand. Or maybe you don't because the rulebook says search your deck. I'm sure that the one they put on the spoiler article is the right one. I say I'm sure. I'm pretty sure that the one they put on the spoiler article was the right one, which is main, 1 yellow, put a hologram character from your hand onto an enemy side, which means you have to have a yellow and a one-of-a-kind card to do it. And then you have to wait a whole turn to try to kill it, either by attacking it or playing the location that corresponds with the hologram. And we'll talk about more how holograms work as we go on. So the level up is kind of rough. The 5 health in the corner is kind of rough. But that level 2 power is really cool. So you're going to probably see a lot of conversation about Mysterio after I post this video, because I don't know that anybody else has noticed that thing in the rulebook yet. All right. So we have Spider-Man. MCU Spider-Man's in the game finally. He's a 3/3 5 health hero main character. He has climb. So at the start of your main phase, you may exhaust a location on your side to put a +1 counter on him, and he has homecoming. Level up 4. When Spider-Man climbs a location he hasn't climbed this game, he gains an XP. Now that's looking at the individual card, not the location type. So if you play like a yellow, climb that yellow, and then next turn you play another yellow and climb that yellow, that's 2 different locations. He's not looking at location types, just individual cards. So you're going to need 4 turns to level him, but then he turns into the level 2 Spider-Man, who is a 6/6 5 health hero with Far From Home. When one of the following locations appears on your side, there's a lot of words here. Academy, which is yellow, draw 2 cards. Fortress, which is green, put 3 +1 counters on Spider-Man. Laboratory, which is blue, put 3 -1 counters on an enemy character. Training Ground, which is red, Spider-Man strikes an enemy character. And Avengers Tower counts as any of the above locations. Those are all really good. Particularly, I like the draw cards, I like the minus counters, and I like the plus counters. So that level up's kind of slow, and you have to make sure you hit a location every turn to get it. But this level 2 is really strong. I think most of you are going to be picking like 1 or 2, maybe 3 of these to focus your deck around. John Phillips and I actually built a Spider-Man deck, a couple of Spider-Man decks actually for Spider-Month. I'll try to link that down in the description if I remember, so you can go check out our thoughts on how to build a Spider-Man deck. But the level up's kind of slow, but again, I really like this level 2. He also has paragliding, which is kind of climb with more upside. It's at the start of your main phase, you may exhaust a location on your side. If you do, put a +1 counter on Spider-Man, and he has flight this turn. So it's essentially just climb, but you're also gaining flight, which is cool. And I like the artwork on this guy. Also, it sucks that he's not doing anything on this. I complain about photographic artwork a lot, so I figure when I like something, I'll point it out. It is kind of a bummer he's not doing anything on the level 1, but I like that for the level 1 they chose his like little ghetto homemade costume. I really liked that in Spider-Man Homecoming, that like this looks like something a teenager would make if they wanted to be like a superhero. It's made out of like a hoodie that he sewed together himself. So I like that that's what they went with for level 1, so that's cool. We have Vulture. I think this is our last main character in here. Vulture is a 2/5 flight 5 health villain character. He has contract to salvage, build green, choose an enemy player to reveal cards from the top of their deck until they reveal one with a cost. Remove that card from the game and they shuffle the rest back into their deck. And then he has the World's Changing, level up 8 when you remove a card from the game with contract to salvage, the Vulture gains an XP equal to its cost. So we also did Scott shared his Spider-Month deck list for Vulture. So we talked about Vulture there. I'll link that in the description below if I remember. So this one's kind of a mixed bag. There's a lot of variance with this one. his level up could be either super fast, you hit a high drop, or really, really slow. You might go the whole game and not level. Let's look at his level 2 and then we'll talk about it more, because it's you kind of need to do that. So at level 2, he's an 8/6 flight, 5 health. He has business is good, build, red, draw a card for each card you move with contract to salvage this game. And then he has high altitude vacuum seal, any turn combat, yellow, cancel the combat unless each enemy character in the combat has flight. This one's pretty good, the combat cancel. His stats are okay. I love drawing cards. The problem is the high amount of variance with it. So if you level fast, which is good in its own way, you're going to be drawing fewer cards. If you take a couple turns to level, you're going to be drawing more cards, which I also like. So the problem with this is that he's inconsistent. He's all over the place, you know? It'll be interesting to see if people come up with something cool for Vulture. I don't think this card is very good, but we'll have to see. Because, you know, it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of chance involved in this. And like, card games are already highly luck based, you know. So what you want to do when you're building a deck is eliminate as much of the luck element as you can. And Vulture just involves a lot of luck, a lot of chance, which is kind of the problem with him. All right, let's get into the rest of these cards. So we have 1-drop May Parker. She is a 0/3 1 health hero character. She's one of a kind. And then she has friends and family, which you'll recognize from the photograph or the illustrated universe Spider Friends cards. And her version of friends and family is, while a Spider-Man character is protecting May, he has +3/+3, which is freaking amazing. This card is great. We have 1-cost Tinkerer. He's a 1/2 1 health villain. He has Tinker. I hate that. There's a quote from the movie where this character says, I'm a curious person by nature. And, like, I think that would just be, like, the perfect name for this power. Like, this Tinker, stupid. That should be, I'm a curious person by nature. Anyway, what this power does is build yellow, search your deck for an equipment, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Absolutely great card. Really good for the Doctor Strange combo deck. I think this is just a cool utility card that you'll see pop up in future photographic formats. We have 2-cost Shocker, who might be a contender for worst artwork in the photographic universe now. He's a 1/6 villain, 1 health, throw down the gauntlet, combat blue. So that's not any turn combat, so it's only on your turn. Combat blue. When the Shocker strikes a front row defender this combat, you may push it to its back row and exhaust it. If you do, it can't ready on its next turn. I think this card's really solid. I think this is a very good card. Obviously, we know from the history of the game that freezing things is really good. Nat Launcher is really good. Not exactly a Nat Launcher and not exactly a freeze, but, you know, we've seen the abilities like this in the past that have been really strong. So I think that's a pretty solid card. We have 2-cost Tony Stark. He's a 1/3 1 health hero. He's AKA Iron Man. He's got Genius. So at the start of your turn, draw a card. And he has I'm Not Here. Build blue or yellow. Put a hero Iron Man supporting character from your hand onto your side with Swarm. I love the flavor of this, where he, like, deploys an empty Iron Man suit. I think this card's pretty decent. I've always liked Genius. Genius rarely sticks, but I love drawing cards, and I think that's a cool power. And being able to pump out Iron Man supporting characters potentially is really cool. Here's a card I don't like. Pretty sure this card's terrible. We have 3-cost Dimitri. He's a 2/2 1 health hero character. That is Dimitri. While each of the following characters is face up on your side, Dimitri has Maria Hill, +1/+1 in Stealth, Nick Fury, +1/+1 in Genius, Spider-Man, +1/+1 in Safeguard. I don't remember off the top of my head which one Safeguard is, but he's a 2/2 on 3, maybe a 3/3 on 3. I doubt you ever get multiple of these at once. That seems pretty rare to me. Maybe Nick Fury and Maria Hill, they're low cost. But I don't know. This card seems pretty bad to me. I think he's just super understated, and that's a lot of setup you have to do to get any value out of him. I think he's just bad. Here's a really good card though. 4-cost Vulture. He's a 7/4 flight, 1 health villain character. He's got Thief. When the Vulture appears, choose an enemy player to discard a random card. So we've seen discard be really strong, particularly in the photographic universe with the Lone Gunman, where you are powering up and drawing cards and making your opponent discard and all that kind of stuff. And then also Black Widow has seen a lot of play. We saw that at Midwinter. And I think this is just another card that you can add to that discard package. The biggest thing this has going against it is it's a 4-cost. So I'm not sure what if you like. I don't think you play this over Killmonger, and it depends on if you're going for like a dedicated discard deck. Maybe you do. But I don't know what your ratio is between like this and Killmonger and stuff like that. Maybe like Winter Soldier is something that a lot of aggressive decks are playing now to try to get in there for the win. But I think this is a great card, and I think you'll see this with like Lone Gunman, Black Widow discard decks as just another piece of discard. I think you'll definitely see this card pop up, and I think it's a great card. We have our first Elemental. I also think this is the best Elemental. We have 5-cost Earth Elemental. He's a 10/10, 1 health villain. He's one of a kind, so you can only have one of him, and he has green hologram, which means when a character with a green superpower appears on your side, stun Earth Elemental. So these guys kill themselves, but they're super yoked. You just play this. He's a 10/10. You're probably going to get the stun on their main character with this. And I think that's kind of all they need to do. There's only a couple of them I think are playable. I think the higher up you want to get, you want to be playing high impact cards that you want to keep. But on 5, I think you're fine with playing just a 10/10 that might die on your next turn. And if you get to keep this for more than one turn, I think you win the game. Honestly, that card is I like that Earth Elemental. We have 6-cost Mysterio. He's a 5/9, flight range, 1 health villain. He's got pretty good artwork on him. He has we need maximum damage. At the start of your build phase, you may put a character with hologram from your hand onto your side. I don't think this card's very good just because it requires a lot of setup, and all the holograms are one of a kind. So like if he came down with the hologram, like when you play this card, bring a hologram out of your hand, I think that's okay. But you have to play him and then wait a turn so that at the start of your build phase, next turn you can bring out a hologram. I just think that's slow, and there's better things that you can play on 6, like Groot and what's the other one? Red Skull. But I think the card's okay. The biggest problem is that all the holograms are one of a kind. So you have to have this and a hologram, and then you have to wait a turn. I think that's a lot to ask for. We have 6-cost Spider-Man. He has a 6/6, 1 health hero. He has home is where the heart is. Spider-Man has +3/+3 for each hero character he is protecting. That's pretty good. And he has web sling. Main red, pull a back row enemy character to its front row. So that'll just demolish the Outriders, right, guys? Shout out to anybody who's on the collective and knows what I'm talking about. I'm kidding, of course. I think this card's okay. Again, I don't think he's better than like Groot and Red Skull. If you're playing like kind of like a swarmy type strategy where you're playing like a bunch of hero low cost guys that you can like put in the back row, this card can like snowball, which is cool. Web sling is an okay power, but I don't really see you often playing this over other 6-drops. But I do think it's a good card. And I like it. I have some more elementals here. We have Water Elemental, 12/12, 1 health villain, 1 of a kind, yellow hologram. So when they play a yellow, you kill this guy. We have Fire Elemental, 14/14, 1 health villain, 1 of a kind, blue hologram. When a character with blue on him appears, you kill this. And then I actually think the Super Elemental is probably the second best one other than the Earth Elemental. He's an 8-cost, 16/16, 2 health. That's the key part for me, I think. Villain, 1 of a kind. Red hologram. When a character with a red superpower appears on enemy side, stun Super Elemental. So he's a 16/16 on 8, which makes him, I believe, the biggest 8-drop in Photo. And I think I wouldn't even consider this if it was an 8-drop that just kills itself when they play a red. But this guy does have 2 health on him. So he just stuns, and you still get to swing with a 16/16 next turn. So I think this one's okay. I think maybe you play this one. I think you play the Earth one. Obviously, you play all of them in a Mysterio deck. But being 1 of a kind, I don't see any reason not to slot in at least the Earth one and maybe the Super Elemental. I think 16 on 16 and on 8 with 2 health is pretty not bad. I like that card. Yeah. Are we into plot twist now? We are. We're into plot twist. So we have Alter Ego, Hero plot twist, build. Choose a character on your side and make up a new name. That character loses its current name and gains the new name until it leaves play. That character has stealth this turn. So the way this works is you have to pick a name that's not already an existing versus card. So you can't like turn your Spider-Man into Captain America or something like that. You have to make up a new name. Like in the article, they suggest Night Monkey, which you'll get obviously if you've seen Spider-Man Far From Home. So like you could name something like C.stacks or something. But the cool thing about this, a couple cool things about this. One is that it makes your characters get around diversity, because you like say you change the name of your main character. Say you're playing, I'm going to grab an example out of the set here. So you're playing main character Spider-Man, and then you play alter ego and you change his name to Hitmonkey, you can now recruit your 6-cost Spider-Man supporting character, which you normally couldn't do because of uniqueness. So all kinds of main characters, I think, gain something out of that by being able to play the supporting character version of themselves that you normally would not be able to play, just by being able to get around uniqueness, which is kind of cool. So, and also we all know that stealth is a good keyword, so can't forget about that part. We have everywhere I go, I see his face. This is a villain plot twist main. Choose a character in an enemy KO pile and remove it from the game. Supporting characters of that name can't appear on an enemy side of this game. I could see this being played with like I was saying, like lone gunman discard stuff. You make them discard important characters and you remove them, and then they can't play them the rest of the game. That does require some setup, and like this card doesn't give you any kinds of immediate advantage by playing it. It's all kind of like in theory, and like if you're not playing discard, then I don't see this having much value. I could see this being good in stuff like Dana Scully main character, so she gets a push from this. Card's okay. I think this card's bad, but it's cool. We have Chitauri Weaponry, 0-cost equipment villain. Let's keep it. You can only play this card with a. You can only play this card while a. Hang on. You can only play this while a card with Chitauri in its name is in your KO pile. So the only cards with Chitauri in their name currently are this card, Chitauri Weaponry, and then the 5-cost Chitauri Leviathan. I think that's from the first MCU set. So that's not very much. So you got to set this up, and it could just sit dead in your hand. But then it has pretty cool stuff. Equip the character has +3/+3 flight and range. So you get a lot of value out of it, but you do have to set it up, which I think could be kind of rough. And then the last card in the box is Edith. Tony Stark's glasses, 0-cost hero hero equipment. Even dead, I'm the hero. You can only play this while Iron Man is in a KO pile. So again, this requires some setup. So this could be either 4-cost. I think he's a 4-cost, or maybe Iron Man is a 4-cost. 4-cost Iron Man, or we have the new Tony Stark supporting character, which is a 2-cost now. So this one's a little easier to set up. Then he has release kill vehicle, main blue, strike an enemy character with a drone with 6 attack. There are no drone cards. That just means you strike something with the equivalent of 6 attack. So I think that card's okay. I think it's better than the Chitauri thing. I think there's more upside to the Chitauri weaponry, but it's harder to set up because you could play like 8 Iron Man in your deck as opposed to just the 4 Chitauri Leviathan. Yeah, lots of cool cards in here for the photographic universe. I like Alter Ego. There's really cool stuff you can do with this. Someone's going to figure out something crazy you can do with this. I just know it. I like the elementals. I think they're definitely super splashable. What else? Vulture's great discard utility. Dimitri's terrible. But I like Shocker. I definitely like Tinker. You're going to see maybe some cool combo stuff with this. Definitely in Doctor Strange. Aunt May is great. Vulture is bad. Spider-Man is pretty good. Mysterio, we don't even know how this card works apparently, but regardless, a cool set, and I'm excited to be able to open cards again. So anyways, thanks for checking out my friendly neighborhood opening video. Hope everybody is staying safe and healthy and in their house, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.